Hello everyone, and welcome to this video where I'll show you how to use the XLOOKUP function in Excel. The XLOOKUP function is used to find things in a table by row. Its main advantage over the VLOOKUP function is that it does not require the value it is looking up to be to the left of the column it is retrieving data from. The XLOOKUP function works by first inputting the value you're looking up, followed by the range where you're looking for it, and finally the range where the return value is found. In this video, we want to be able to quickly retrieve employee information from this sheet here, such as the ID, age, salary, nationality, as well as the tax rates, using just the employee's name. Here, the VLOOKUP function would not work, as the column containing the names is to the right of all other columns. To overcome this, we're going to use XLOOKUP instead. To find the ID that corresponds to Liam Brown, we type equals XLOOKUP, first input the lookup value, which is the name, followed by the lookup array, which is the column containing the names in the other sheet, and finally input the ID column, as we want Excel to return the corresponding ID. Excel has retrieved the following ID, which is indeed Liam's ID. Now, to quickly bring this formula down and across to all other cells, we can add absolute references. We're going to add a $sign in front of the lookup value to ensure that as we bring this across, column B remains static. We can then add absolute references around the lookup array by highlighting it and clicking the F4 key, as we want the lookup array to always remain the same. For the return array, we want the row numbers to be static, but the column numbers to be dynamic in order to retrieve the data from the relevant column. So let's add $signs in front of the row numbers. We can now drag this formula down and across to apply it to the other cells. You'll notice that all of Steve Jones' values are NAs. This is because the name Steve Jones does not exist in our employee details table. If we don't want the return value to be NA, XLOOKUP allows us to customize the output by adding an extra argument. Let's instead output the string not found. Next, we want to identify the tax code that corresponds to each person's salary. As a reminder, in the other sheet we have a table which contains the income thresholds for each tax rate. To return the tax rate, we type equals XLOOKUP, the lookup value is the salary, we want Excel to search for it within this column here, and the value we want to return is the tax rate, which is found in column I. Since each employee's salary figures do not exactly match the ones provided in this table, we want Excel to return the closest value lower than the figure we're looking up. To do this, we can skip the not found argument and add a -1 for the next argument. Before we click enter, let's add absolute references to both arrays to ensure that they remain static. Therefore, in accordance with the table on the other sheet, any salary below $50,000 is assigned a 20% tax rate, between $50,000 and $150,000 is assigned a 40% tax rate, and above $150,000 is assigned a 45% tax rate. Next, let's consider the case where there are two identical lookup values. In our data, we have two people called Michael Smith. To find the details for the first Michael, we can simply copy the formula we used for the above names. However, when we apply the same formula to the second Michael, it doesn't return the correct data. To overcome this, we can add a -1 at the end of the XLOOKUP formula. This is telling Excel to search from last to first instead of first to last. Now the correct data for both Michaels has been retrieved, as you can see here. So that's how you can use the XLOOKUP function in Excel. It's a more advanced lookup function which overcomes many of the disadvantages of VLOOKUP. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful, and subscribe to the Excel Hub for weekly Excel tutorials, techniques, and examples.